When you think of the brand Urban Decay, what kind of words come to mind? I'll tell you what comes to my mind. Edgy, cool, alternative, different, unique, makeup that's outside of the box. But are those the principles that Urban Decay was actually founded upon? And where do they stand in the makeup industry today? We're going to be discussing that in this video. Hey you guys, my name is Ellix and I have an obsession with all things beauty, be it makeup, hair, nails, skincare, all the things. And I have been a part of the beauty industry for well over 15 years now, and I have seen brands come and go, and I've seen a lot of changes within this little industry over here, which is not so little by any stretch of the imagination. And I've really always loved Urban Decay ever since I was introduced to the brand back in 2006 when I walked through those Sephora doors and I found the whole little stand of Urban Decay. I thought it was such a cool brand and vibe and aesthetic, and I loved that edgy kind of feel that the packaging and the products inside gave. They were highly pigmented, they blended beautifully, and they were just very different and very unique from what I had seen on the market previously. But is that the same vibe that I'm still getting from the brand? Is that the same vibe that you still get from the brand? As new consumers come onto the market, how do they feel about Urban Decay? So I want to talk about that. I'm going to be sharing a brief history of the brand, where its roots were originally planted, the concept that they were going for, the aesthetic, and kind of travel along with them, where they were and how far they've come and where they kind of land now in the beauty world. Because I feel like there's been a lot of changes in my opinion. And I understand that lots of things change. Things change. It's hard to accept sometimes, but brands can change and evolve and adapt. And they have to, or else they go stale. But what happens when a brand leaves so far from its roots that it becomes something else entirely? So we're going to be talking about all of that. I thought this video would be fun and hopefully interesting. I'm going to be doing some more brand deep dives here coming up in the future and kind of doing like a then and now comparison for some brands. So if you like this kind of video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it. Sharing is caring. It helps me out a lot. So if there's anybody out there that you know that loves Urban Decay also, or the beauty industry in general, and would enjoy a video like this, please send them a little, copy this link and send it their way. And then make sure you do subscribe, like I said briefly, and turn on your notification bell so that you do not miss out on future videos like this. These brand deep dives will be here on my channel probably on Mondays. It's what my goal is for now, and I'm super, super excited to start sharing these videos with you guys. You can also follow me over on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all those places if you want some extended content. But without further ado, let's talk about the brief history of Urban Decay. P.S. I hope that you like my little extra vibe that I'm going for today. It's just a look and I am just having super fun with it. If you like anything that I am wearing or discussing, it'll be linked down in the description box. You know it. You know it. Urban Decay officially launched in January of 1996, and they launched with a collection of lipsticks and nail polishes that gave off a very grunge aesthetic type of vibe. All the colors had really edgy names such as Oil Slick, Ozone, Asphyxia, Oozy, and the company was founded by Sandy Lerner and Wendy Zomner. Well, but not really, but yeah. So the actual founder story, it's a little bit messy. I was not expecting this when I was doing my research. I just thought I was going to be talking about brand aesthetic, where they were founded. Eat simple stuff. But you guys, it's messy. Yeah, I found some tea. So when I was researching, I came across a lawsuit. So Urban Decay was first kind of conceptualized in the English countryside at Sandy Lerner's mansion, along with Patricia Holmes, which I believe was one of her horse trainers and friends. Now, Sandy Lerner is a self-proclaimed, or was a self-proclaimed aging punk, whatever that means. She liked the edgy kind of grungy rock and roll scene. So that has its roots in that. And Patricia Holmes wasn't as like rockery. So they were going to an event or something, and Sandy Lerner was wearing her black nail polish or some kind of dark nail polish. She was trying to encourage her friend Patricia Holmes to wear something similar. But so she gave her a bunch of nail polishes, and basically Patricia Holmes kind of came up with her own kind of grungy blackish purple type of nail polish. Well, Sandy Lerner loved it. The wheels started turning, things started to happen. The pair kind of started to come up with this idea of Urban Decay. So the concept was created along with that pairing. Sadly, Patricia Holmes seemed to have been kind of pushed out over about a year's time. It was one of those things, it was kind of like a verbal, discussion that they were going to be partners. They were quoted to say, this is going to be our baby. And it's kind of sad because Sandy Lerner, kind of took the reins with everybody and the team started bringing on different people, but Patricia Holmes was not really involved with any of that, but she was involved with the board meetings kind of situation. So she was kind of talked to like a partner, but also things were withheld from her and she was working along in the warehouse and getting things up and running, and it was all just really messy and really sad. And I think one of the most sad things about that whole situation is Sandy Lerner it's the Urban Decay is not a rag to riches story. Okay, I talked about the English countryside mansion. Sandy Lerner and her husband at the time had founded Cisco Systems, the Cisco Systems. So that's huge. That was a groundbreaking company in and of itself that now generates billions of dollars a year. So now we're going to get to the part that really kind of grinds my gears personally. So first of all, Sandy Lerner was actually fired from Cisco Systems back in 1990. And while it wasn't the billion-dollar company it is today, it obviously had that potential to be so. And of course, it was still worth millions. Well, according to this article that I found on Inc.com titled Sandy Lerner, the Investor is Not Your Friend, Lerner was actually forced out after getting some funding and going public. And that's like, it's really crappy, right? Shortly after her termination, she does sell her shares for somewhere around $200 million. Now, the reason why I wanted to mention all of this, because I just felt like, in my opinion, this is all really crappy. It totally sucks what happened to Sandy Lerner with Cisco Systems, but it feels like she had that happen to her and then she kind of turned it around and did it to somebody else. At least that's what it appeared to have happened in the court documents I was reading. So of course, Patricia Holmes did file suit against Lerner and her other partner. And of course, the courtrooms did find in favor of Holmes and was awarded somewhere around $1.2 million. So anyways, back to the actual founding of Urban Decay. So Sandy Lerner, she has some money, right? And she's looking to invest and start up another company. Doesn't know exactly what yet, but with this whole nail polish that Patricia Holmes allegedly creates, a new business was born. But then for whatever reason, they kind of wanted to push her out. And that's, in that time, it seems like the first 6 months is when they brought on Wendy Zomner. Now, Wendy Zomner, like I said, she seems to be the face of like the founders. It's weird because when I was reading her quotes and stuff, it just very much seemed like she was the founder. Now, she might completely agree with everything that Urban Decay was founded upon, and that's all great and dandy. But I just was not expecting all of this. I just thought I was gonna read this cute little story about this countryside girl, because that's what Wendy Zomner has said. She grew up on a ranch and her mother loved makeup, and Wendy Zomner always liked to play in makeup, but she liked to wear stuff a little bit different. And it just seemed like she was there in it. But really, when it came down to it, Wendy Zomner was brought on for her expertise. Maybe also because she liked, all the grungy aesthetic and beauty outside the box and stuff, but she also had connections and she also had experience in advertising. So it was a very, very strategic move. And I think this is all very important for the whole entire thing, and it just makes me not surprised anymore that Urban Decay has taken the direction that they have. There's many reasons I feel, in my opinion, things have changed with Urban Decay, but that stuff was just wild to me. So I just had to share all of that. Like I said, I'll link things down below for you guys to check out the sources and everything. And also I want to say a huge shout out to LS, because I was trying to do all this research and I came across her video and she had mentioned the lawsuit, and so I was like, whoa, pause it, hang on, I gotta go read all of this stuff. And wow, okay, so I'll link her video down below too if you want to hear some more stuff about Urban Decay. But let's move on from that for now. Woo, my goodness. Okay, so Brand aesthetic, obviously it was originally produced to have that edgy alternative beauty outside of the box type of vibe. One of their first mission statements was makeup for boys and girls who want to show the world who they are, which is all fine and dandy, right? The company's first magazine ad asked, "Does pink make you puke?" Okay, so you see where things are going here. Target audience seemed to be anyone looking for beauty outside the box. What we really wanted was a different take on beauty. So I like all of that. That's great, right? But when I was reading those court documents, there was mention of an exchange, a conversation about creating this company and selling it. And listen, I like not selling it to you and me, like selling it to a conglomerate, selling it off like as soon as possible for the most amount of money they can get. I pulled up here in a little article about the 4 different acquisitions of Urban Decay. So first in the year 2000, yes, 4 years after the original founding and launching of Urban Decay, they were purchased by Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton, okay? It doesn't say, I couldn't find out exactly how much, but they were purchased in 2000. Shortly thereafter, in 2002, the Phallic Group, which is the owner of the Perry Ellis fragrance line, purchased Urban Decay. Then in 2009, I don't know how to say this, but Castania Partners, a private equity firm, acquired Urban Decay. And then in 2012, so just a short 3 years later, L'Oreal made the big purchase. And that's the one that most of us know about, is that L'Oreal purchased Urban Decay in 2012. It is estimated to be a purchase between $300 and $400 million. Now, listen, brands are created, products are created to sell. I understand that. I know that that's the goal. But when you have a brand such as Urban Decay that felt very grassroots when I was researching it, when I was researching different articles about why it was founded, I thought I was going to be able to talk about this cool thing. They went and they sought out their favorite punk rock musicians. They got them to wear their makeup. They talk about things like that. They talk about getting Gwen Stefani to wear their makeup. And it was just like very organic. And then the more and more I was researching it, it just felt very inauthentic, almost like, that's my opinion. That's how I felt as a consumer reading about this. And I'm just wanting to share with you guys how I'm feeling. You guys can take away whatever you want in this, of course, but it just felt very like, oh, wait a second. Ooh, maybe it's my like punk rock type of roots where I just love, the punky type of vibe and energy and aesthetic where you don't want your favorite band to be a sellout, right? So it just felt like when I was reading that, it just felt like an intentional goal of being a sellout, which is not like selling out all the product. Oh my gosh, all the hype, everybody wants it. It's like your favorite band, you finding out that they don't actually like making music. They just want to sell as much merchandise with their face on it. So mugs, cups, lanyards, keychain, anything and everything, they'll put their name on it to sell it. Okay, that's dramatic maybe, but that's just kind of like how it felt since they had that like rocker type of, roots that they were trying to portray. That's just kind of how it felt, because it's like, well, do they really care about this beauty, breaking the beauty mold, beauty outside the box? Is it both? Do they want that and they just want to sell it? Or is it just an advertising ploy? Is it just a gimmick? And that's just kind of like how I felt reading everything. So anyways, basically what I'm trying to say is, yeah, their original goal was to be that edgy type of brand. And it was groundbreaking. It was revolutionary, and it helped pave the way for a lot of brands. So I got to give credit where credit is due. A lot of brands probably wouldn't be here today or would have had to have a bigger struggle had they not paved their way. And having connections into the industry, it is helpful. A lot of brands wouldn't have probably taken them seriously if they didn't have connections. So let's talk about brand achievements before we go into where the brand is now. Their first breakthrough product was Midnight Night Cowboy eyeshadow. It may look like a subtle shadow by today's standards, but for 1998, it was a little bit more of an edgy vibe because it was a shimmery shadow with bits of glitter. Now, Wendy Zomner also told Forbes it appealed to that kind of edgy girl, but it also had a broader appeal to women who just wanted to dip her toes into the water of being edgy. And that was where they discovered they could bridge the gap between that kind of niche brand and being a brand with a wider appeal. Now, Too Faced is actually known to do that with their palettes. They take these neutral palettes and they purposefully add 1 or 2 pops of color to try to help people to reach outside of the box. Even if it's just a neutral shadow with a little pop of color in the inner corner, that was their original goal in a lot of Too Faced palettes. So that's very intentional. And I do like that idea, but Urban Decay, in my opinion, should be pushing the envelope more than that. You know what I mean? So bridging the gap is one thing, but to go like totally over the bridge is another to me, but hey. So their first actual sellout product, you might remember it, was actually their Alison Wonderland collab in 2010. I remember that palette being so difficult to find, and I actually got lucky because I was trying to find one for my best friend for her birthday, and I found one, and a few days later, I experienced my first case in makeup FOMO. And if you don't know what FOMO is, it is a fear of missing out. So I went back to Sephora to try to grab one for myself after I mapped out my budget for the month because I did not make very much money. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do it. I hyped myself up. I went to Sephora and it was completely sold out, which should not have been a surprise to me at all, but I was disappointed nonetheless. No big deal, whatever. But hey, if you got one, you're lucky. And then of course they had their ever famous primer potion, the all-nighter setting sprays, which were followed by the De-Slick setting sprays, lots of hyped product, the Stay Naked line, all of that. But before the Stay Naked line was, of course, the Naked palettes. Those Naked palettes were such a hit, such a cult following. That was like the dawn of the beauty YouTube space, and that was part of like the huge push for it. And it was a huge shift in Urban Decay's brand aesthetic. So we talked about how they found a way to kind of bridge the gap and what happens when they go all the way over the bridge. Well, I feel like the Naked palette is when they go all the way over the bridge. It's kind of funny when you think about where they came from. I mean, I understand that the Naked palette, like that's so risky when it was launched. Like it's called Naked, ooh. But the palette itself, it's all neutrals. And there's nothing wrong with neutrals, okay? I know that a lot of us on our everyday, we're gonna grab just our neutral palettes. No big deal. And that's the look that a lot of people wanna go for, even for their special occasions. That's all fine. But it's just so weird when you think about the original concepts and roots of Urban Decay, why it was founded, and guess what their best hit is? And then they went right back in the box. Now, the discussion can be here in the comments. Do you think that Urban Decay just put themselves and wrapped themselves back up in a nice little pretty box because, well, that's just what the people wanted, so we just got to give them what they want, and it is what it is. We're done. We don't want to try. Or were they just trying to sell? You know, or a little bit of both. You know, what is your take on all of that? Because yeah, the Naked palettes, they were revolutionary in their own right, oddly enough. The problem with the Naked palette, I think, in my opinion, is that they fall victim to like the brand that won't stop. They will not stop producing different spin-offs of the Naked concept and different Naked palettes over and over and over again. So let's fast forward to right now, okay? Currently, their mission statement that is posted on their website, I find this interesting, okay? Urban Decay was born in Southern California in 1996. Well, kind of. When we disrupted the industry's sea of pink-dominated counters, badass, cruelty-free, high-performance makeup, reinvention over perfection, inspiration without replication. Kindness over cruelty, unsubscribe from beauty telling you to be pretty, be whatever you want to be. Okay, inspiration without replication. Can we revisit that naked situation? Because, you know, we talked about their naked palettes were a hit and now they won't quit, okay? I personally feel like they probably should have, you know, just let it be at Naked 3, Naked Smoky. They came out with Naked Heat, Naked Cherry, Naked Ultraviolet, Naked, what was the Wild West one? Something like that. I really think that Urban Decay at this point is falling victim to oversaturation. Not necessarily oversaturation of the market. I don't think in general they come out with too much product. I think that it's oversaturation of themselves. I think that they cannot break out of their own box. You know, they're kind of going towards that beauty box, and then they have their own box that they've put themselves into, and they can't branch out. They have tried to come out with other palettes, and maybe they feel like discouraged, maybe the sales aren't good because of whatever reason. It's just like one launch after another. You can see things are not seeming to go really well. And again, I don't know if that's because there's just so much makeup out there now, but every recent launch I can think of, we had the Prince launch, which had its own, you know, messiness, and even the Stone palette, like a lot of products have gone on sale really quickly. So to sum up, the word that comes to mind for me now that I've known all this stuff, is just disenchanted. I'm disenchanted from the brand, finding out everything. I just feel like bleh. So I'm kind of done right now until they can come out with something that actually blows me away. Maybe moving forward, now that I know this and I can truly remove that thinking that they're just like supposed to be edgy and fun. Now I'll just think of them as just a makeup brand that's trying to sell stuff. Maybe I'll look at it through that lens and I'll feel a different way the next launch I see. But I don't know. It's hard now because I have this taste in my mouth that's just, I don't know. How are you feeling about Urban Decay? Down below in the comments. Let me know. Let's talk. Let's discuss. I hope that this was enjoyable for you and you learned a little something. And if you did like this, like I said at the beginning, please make sure to like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more deep dives on brands. Hopefully there's not as much disenchanting going on. I have a couple brands on my list that'll be coming up really quickly here soon, but if you have any brands in particular that you would like me to research for you and share, please let me know down in the comments. Like I said at the beginning, you can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat if you want some extended content over there. I'll be reacting to some makeup launches that are coming out, so you can check that out. And I'm gonna go. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's the only time that I have to film now with my 5-month-old baby because she's asleep for most of the night and I can finally do this. Okay, but I gotta go to bed. So I will see you guys later. Bye.